I'm Red, you're watching Power Garage. Back on my all-wheel drive EM2. Been driving this thing around, enjoying it. You know, the boost is nice, the all-wheel drive works great. Yeah, a lot of my friends are really surprised, you know, the car really pulls hard. But it was inevitable. I was going to replace this clutch. And I've been having issues where when I power shift into third, it just roasts that clutch. And plus I'm getting a vibration under full throttle, so I think that the clutch might be even slipping all the time. So, you know, the all-wheel drive puts a lot more load on it. This clutch is like super old. I've had it for a long time, and it's never seen this kind of power before. So, you know, I was just using it temporary just to get the car to move around and until I can pick up my new clutch. So today, we're going to be throwing in my ClutchMasters twin disc right here. I got a few extra parts. I'll show you these in a minute. This clutch is a beautiful piece of workmanship right here. Yeah, I like the ClutchMasters for a few reasons. It has these springs in here to help with chatter when you press on the clutch. It's a very common thing where like the plates will just kind of bounce back and forth. If you ever listen to a Ducati motorcycle, you know, they have a multi-plate clutch, but it's a dry clutch, unlike most motorcycles where the clutch is wet. So that's a very distinct noise. You can hear that like clanging. You think that, oh, does that bike have a rod knock or something? No, it's the clutch. Also too, you know, I've driven cars with other twin discs and they're very, very stiff pressure plate. It's just not fun to drive at all. So this one is actually very reasonable. People say it's almost like stock. So we're gonna find out today. And then I got a few more things to go along with this clutch. I purchased their hydraulic release bearing. So this replaces the factory release bearing and the pivot, and this just goes inside the transmission, and this is what presses on the clutch. So the lines go straight to that, and that's what engages it. So it came with a couple lines right here. It came with one with a bleeder and then a regular line. But since I'm gonna do something a little bit different, I took this line and I cut the end off and I put a standard 3AN. So what I'm going to do is, because this goes inside the transmission or inside the bell housing, and in order to take the transmission back out later, you would have to disconnect the line. So I purchased this component. It's called a dry brake. It's a quick disconnect, but it doesn't allow air to get in. So on here, you just push, twist, and then it comes undone. And then you can see right there, I'm not really sure 100% how this works, but I know that the piston goes in there and then there's a bunch of seals, and yeah, so that goes right there. So this one side's going to go to here, one side is going to go to the bottom of that, and then I have a clutch line that I made up. The other straight is going to go into the dry brake. This one is going to go into the master cylinder. I got a special fitting, and then I just ordered a brand new EM2 ClutchMaster, so I'm just going to use the OEM one. The EM2 one is nice because it doesn't have the little dampener thing that tends to leak and explode. So yeah, so we're going to get all this stuff done, and I'll show you guys how to put this in and a few things you have to watch for. There's a lot of debate whether to use Loctite or not. I'm just going to throw a little bit on the flywheel bolts and just bang them in there. And then plus I bought brand new bolts, so we're just going to use those new ones. And I read online how to adjust the clutch, so we're going to try that out too and see if we can get everything dialed in. You don't really need a clutch stop as long as you adjust the pedal to the right position. The factory stop is good enough, but you do have to adjust the throw of this. Now, if I run out of adjustment, well then obviously, yeah, I'm going to have to put a clutch stop. But I don't think that will be an issue. So we're going to pull this transmission out and we're going to dive in. Plus, I did hear a funny noise coming from my car. I have a torn axle boot. I think one of my axles kind of exploded a little bit. Just an O'Reilly special, so probably going to have to get those insane shafts. But while the transmission is out, I'm just going to open it up and inspect it just to be 100% sure, and then we're going to throw it back in. So, you know, I'm just going to go fast motion through this. You guys see me pull the transmission out of this car a few times, so, you know, it's pretty straightforward. I get this done pretty quick, so, you know, let's check it out. Feels good when I turn it. I'm still going to pull the T-case off and then probably peek inside the transmission just to be sure, but I think it's fine. And we looked at the camera footage, and that was 50 minutes real time with all that crazy intercooler stuff. So yeah, pretty quick. Doesn't take me too long to pull the transmission. I do a lot of these. So, and then we got this old ass rusty old clutch, super duper duper old. So this thing is going bye-bye. Honestly, you know, it's had a good run. I rebuilt it a few times, but it's going in the garbage. So it was a nice clutch while it lasted. So one of the things that we're going to do for the twin disc to make it work a little bit better is we're going to be installing the hydro bearing. This thing, when you apply hydraulic pressure, the bearing comes out and pushes against the clutch. So I've heard that these make them a lot smoother, plus you get a lot more control, and yeah, everything should work well with these. So to install this, you have to remove the factory pivot. So these just come right off. You have a little clip, no problem. And then, yeah, clean all this grease off. This thing, it doesn't move on this piece anymore. I have to remember to put some grease on that for the twin disc. Okay. And then I believe it's a 20. Oh no, it's a 21. Yeah, it's 21. So we're gonna take this bad boy off. It's kind of a funny thread pitch, I think. Okay, so in order to do this, we have two. One is for bleeding. You want to use the top one to get all the air bubbles out, and the bottom one is for the line. So I'm going to thread the bottom one on. And I believe it's a 9/16. Yeah. Thread the 9/16. And then for the top, see, we have the bleeder. So the bleeder goes on the top so that we can get all the air bubbles out. Where's that 10/16? Here we go. Okay. So these go through the little boot right here, and this part just slides right on, and then we use the pivot back on here to hold this bad boy down. Doesn't have to be too tight. Doesn't move. And then there we go. I did call ClutchMasters, and you know, you can set this up. You have to measure the clearance, and it should be about, I think they said anywhere from 90 to 120 thousandths. But they said it's no problem just to set this up like this. No row measurements is required. So then, like I was saying before, see, we have these two lines coming out, and like I said, when the line's connected, you know, to drop the transmission, you have to disconnect and you have to bleed everything. So we're going to install this dry brake. I was gonna modify one of these. You know what? Maybe I'll just flip it like I was gonna do, and then we'll just mess with it later. gonna flip this bad boy. What I was gonna do, I didn't have time. I was gonna take this one right here. I was gonna cut out a piece of metal and drill a hole, because when I purchased this, I purchased it as a bulkhead. So one side actually has a nut. See right there? And it was gonna screw in. Well, it might work on this. Maybe we'll try it out. What do you think, Nelson?
You give it a shot?
Yeah, give it a shot. It's not perfect, but good enough. Right? Isn't that what I always say? Good enough.
That's what we say around here.
Yep. I'll do something cool and custom later. Yeah, and this thing is pretty cool. It's made out of titanium. Come on, bad boy. There we go. Actually, you know what? I think this thing is gonna tighten up. There we go. I think that will work, Nelson. So this is what I was thinking about doing. Where's those bolts? So I'm gonna put this back. There you go, so you can see better. Man, I should have gotten like a 90. It looks okay to you, Nelson?
Looks good on this end.
Yeah, it's a little long, but it's okay. You know, maybe if I made this line a little bit shorter, but I'm sure this is gonna come out eventually, so we'll just fix it another time.
You can always customize your application.
Oops. No, it didn't like that. Where did that 9/16 go? Okay. Okay. So this is gonna go up here. I'm gonna have to zip tie this out of the way, and then here we go. See, the line goes right here, and it goes into the quick disconnect, and there you go. See, and this is gonna go towards this line right here. Let's do this one more time. Okay. Come on. There we go. I don't know, it doesn't like this side. So, when I want to connect it, you just push, and then there you go. See? Super cake. That's it. And then, I'm going to use this on the new master cylinder, and that's it. Bad boy's ready to go back in. So, put a little bit of lube on here, and we'll be straight. So, I'm going to go throw that new clutch on and show you guys how to put it together. You know, show you some stuff that they recommend doing that maybe not everybody does. So, give me a minute. Okay, so we got the twin out here. In order to install it, obviously you have to take the diaphragm and the clutch discs off. They didn't tighten these up too much. So they come off by hand. I believe this is a 6mm Allen. Okay, so I'm gonna put these on here. man? Okay. Oops. Not a big deal. I have to take these off anyways to put Loctite on them. They recommend using blue Loctite. Okay, so the twin disc is actually pretty basic. It consists of 2 discs, a center plate, and then the flywheel and the diaphragm. And then, like I said, they have a little spring so that this thing doesn't clang when you're using the clutch. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it off to the side for now, and then we're going to install the flywheel on the block. As you can see, there's a bunch of crap on it. We are going to clean this up when we put it on. So, one thing that I read online too, they recommend install the bolts, torque them to 20 foot-pounds, and then just take one at a time, and then apply Loctite. I'm going to use blue Loctite so I can actually remove these bolts without damaging anything. Yeah, brake cleaner is your friend when it comes to clutch components. It cleans really well and evaporates quick. It doesn't leave a film. I want to make sure everything is super clean. When you're putting a clutch this expensive in your car, you want to make sure you take all the precautions. Plus, if this thing comes loose, it'll destroy your crankshaft. And then, pick up something from the dealership.
Brand spanking new.
Brand new bolts. Look at these suckers. Got a little bit of oil on them. I'm gonna spray them down in a second with some brake clean. Just want to take these out. Some cheap insurance, so you don't use any boo-boo ass old bolts that are gonna mess up on you. Ooh, I got one extra, probably from the other set. I ordered 2 sets. They just have like a oily film, so I'm gonna clean these up. Yeah, these bolts are plenty strong for any application. I've never seen a broken bolt that didn't break because of its strength. It broke because the bolt came loose. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Tell me when.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to do the preliminary torquing of the 20. And then from there, we can take them out, put some Loctite on them, and cinch them down all the way. Set my torque wrench to 20. Yeah, see, it's not very tight. Basically, I'm just doing this to make sure the flywheel is all the way flat. Okay? So now that it's all the way on there, now I can take them out one at a time and put Loctite. So, let me go I like to get these Loctite sticks, very easy. Just put it on, done. I don't particularly like using Loctite on flywheel bolts. I've seen to where they can actually get behind the bolt and it can like push them out when it gets hot. But if you're careful, like doing this, the flywheel is already fully seated to the disc, so it will be really hard to get behind it. So let me bang these on there and get her handled. Okay, so I'm just gonna do one at a time. Just gonna put a little dab. Little dab on here. And this one's on the top. And then just bang it on there. And then that one is done. So I'm gonna do that to the other 7, and then we'll be good. All right, so gave you a bunch of instructions, and the bolts that bolt the pressure plate are 8mm. So we need to torque them to 20 foot-pounds. So also definitely use Loctite on those. So let's get this bad boy up here. Don't want to touch it too much. My greasy ass hands. Come on, there we go. So I'm gonna do the same thing as the other one. I'm gonna kind of tighten it down, and then just do one at a time. You know what? Here, I'm gonna rotate this so we can. Man, that stupid pump is dripping on my ear, dude.
Thing leaks, man.
Well, it's because I took off the line.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so. Come on, where's she at? There we go. Once I get 2 in here, then we'll be okay. It's a very awkward position. Yeah, that stupid pump. Leaking all over my ear. Oops. Yeah, let's do this by hand. Yeah, you know what? I need to make sure that
It's all the way seated.
no, it's in the pilot bushing, so that when I what is it called? When I put the transmission on, it'll slide easy. Because it said in the instructions, do not force it. Yeah, you definitely want to follow the warnings. Okay, time to torque these bad boys. Oh yeah. Put the Loctite out of the way. One by one. So. Apply the Loctite. Go. Okay. Do the same thing for the other 5. Yeah, and like I was saying to Nelson a minute ago, you know, one reason why you torque stuff is so that you tighten it the right amount and not over tighten it. Plus, they're all even. So there's an even amount of pressure. So there you go. All right, so the clutch is in, the slave cylinder's on, everything's ready to go. So yeah, basically just put the transmission back in, and then once we get the transmission in, then we can start working on doing the new master cylinder. So pretty straightforward. Let me throw some brake fluid in here. I'll grab my bleeder. This is .4. Said .3 and .4 is compatible. Okay. What's up, dude? So here's the bleeder right here. So I'm gonna stick my tool on there. Okay, let's crack this bleeder. I mean, you could force bleed it with the pedal, but I'd rather just do it like this. It's a lot quicker. Oop. Sucking it up already. Yeah, the maximum is like right here, so I'm gonna try to suck it down to that line. Okay. I think I might be good. See how that pedal feels. Oh, it feels pretty good. Pretty soft. Okay. Well, now Nelson's gonna have to help me get under the car, and we're gonna have to set up the, set up the stop. Okay, that's gonna be fun. All right, so the adjustment was a little further than what I thought. The pedal's actually really easy to push. So what I did was, Nelson got into the car, was turning the transfer case, and I have it in gear. So he's not gonna be able to turn it easily with the clutch engaged because the compression of the engine is gonna keep it from turning, okay? So what I did was I pushed all the way down on the clutch until it hit the stop, the factory stop. Then I let off, and then once he says that it started to engage, that's where your friction point is. It said you want a 1/4 inch of extra play. So when you push down all the way and you let off, you want like a 1/4 inch gap. So that's what they recommended, and that's what we got. So no problem. This should be good. I might have to play with the engagement a little bit more because I don't want it to engage on the floor. Well, I mean, it does take a little bit of time for it to actually fully engage, but the full disengage. So Nelson said it felt smooth. Yeah. We got the clutch line. This thing is way too long. It's okay. But yeah, maybe I'll trim it up later. And then we got the dry brake right here. Seems to be holding. And yeah, I think we're good. So basically just put everything back together. I'm also going to do one thing on the car is I'm going to change the wastegate spring. I was having like a 1.5 psi boost creep on the dyno. So I'm going to put a stiffer spring. The spring that's in there right now is a 6 psi. And I mean, we tuned it to around 12. And I was still getting full traction at first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump it up to like 10 pound spring. So yeah, so we'll see what's up. So I'm just gonna keep working on this, and then when I'm done, we'll go we'll take it around the block, check out the new clutch. easier when this holds it. Yeah, what do you think? That was not gonna happen inside the car, huh?
No way, dude.
Not too bad, dude. That feels super easy. A little low, but feels like it engages all the way. So here, you want to go around the block real quick? Check it out. Oh yeah, this clutch is super easy, dude. I was a little worried, but oh, dude,
Like butter, bro.
oh, yeah, like butter. Yeah, I'm really happy with my purchase. These ClutchMasters twins, super drivable. I'm really surprised. This thing actually feels better than my 6-puck. We're gonna be tearing shit up now.
Yeah, no slip.
Stupid car. This thing doesn't. I need to mess with the idle. This thing's not jerky. It slips nice on initial engagement. A little bit of boost for you. Still hear a little bit of that that center plate rattle, but that's actually not that bad. So you can still hear a little bit of the rattle, but that ain't nothing, dude. This ClutchMasters clutch is super cake. Yeah, I need to get this idle fixed up, but yeah. So, overall, you know what, I'm really happy. Here, let's pull this bad boy back in. Oh well. So, yeah, easy install. I was able to set up the clutch slave super easy. Everything went in nice. You know, the pedal feel is almost like stock. Like, you know, it feels about the same as my heavy duty, the other one. So it's just a little bit harder than stock, maybe like a stage 1. Feels great. Easy engagement, doesn't jerk, doesn't buck, none of that. So I definitely recommend the ClutchMasters. So, you know, now time to go back to the dyno. I got to recalibrate the, the duty cycle on the boost solenoid, because, you know, now I put a 10-pound spring in my wastegate. So, you know what, we're going to have to recalibrate that. But yeah, the car seems to be running good. So next step is take it back to the dyno and up the boost. Now we got the clutch that can hold it. We'll be good. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.